Economic growth is a central objective for nations across the globe, as it underpins improvements in living standards, employment opportunities, and the overall welfare of citizens. At the heart of sustained economic expansion lies the role of government policies, which can either catalyze or impede the growth trajectory of an economy. Governments wield a variety of policy instruments, ranging from fiscal and monetary policies to regulatory frameworks, trade strategies, and innovation incentives that collectively shape the environment in which businesses operate and individuals engage in productive activities. The effectiveness of these policies, their alignment with national priorities, and their adaptability to changing global conditions are critical determinants of a country's economic performance over time. One of the most direct ways governments influence economic growth is through fiscal policy, which encompasses decisions about government spending and taxation. Through judicious allocation of public expenditures, governments can invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other sectors that form the backbone of a productive economy. For instance, investments in transportation networks reduce logistical bottlenecks, lower transaction costs, and open up new markets for businesses. Similarly, spending on education enhances human capital by equipping the workforce with skills necessary for innovation and adaptability in a rapidly evolving global economy. Tax policy, on the other hand, affects disposable income, savings, and investment decisions. Lower marginal tax rates can boost incentives for work and entrepreneurship, while targeted tax credits and deductions can stimulate investment in priority sectors such as renewable energy or technology. Beyond fiscal measures, monetary policy plays a pivotal role in shaping the macroeconomic environment. Central banks, through their control of interest rates and money supply, influence borrowing costs, consumption patterns, and investment flows. An accommodative monetary policy, characterized by lower interest rates and ample liquidity, can spur economic activity during downturns by making credit more affordable and encouraging spending. Conversely, tightening monetary policy can help contain inflationary pressures and maintain macroeconomic stability, which is essential for sustainable long-term growth. The credibility and transparency of monetary authorities are crucial in anchoring expectations and fostering a stable economic climate conducive to investment. Regulatory policies also constitute a major lever through which governments affect economic growth. A well-designed regulatory environment can promote competition, protect consumers, and ensure the efficient allocation of resources. Conversely, excessive or poorly crafted regulations can stifle innovation, raise compliance costs, and deter both domestic and foreign investment. Streamlining business registration processes, simplifying licensing requirements, and reducing bureaucratic red tape are measures that can lower barriers to entry and unleash entrepreneurial dynamism. At the same time, robust legal frameworks that enforce property rights, uphold contracts, and deter corruption are indispensable for building investor confidence and supporting long-term economic development. Trade policy is another vital domain where government actions have far-reaching implications for economic growth. By liberalizing trade and integrating into global markets, countries can access larger consumer bases, benefit from economies of scale, and acquire advanced technologies and know-how. Trade agreements that reduce tariffs and non-tariff barriers facilitate the flow of goods, services, and capital, thereby enhancing productivity and competitiveness. However, the benefits of trade openness are not automatic. They depend on complementary policies that enable domestic industries to adjust, upgrade, and compete effectively. Strategic trade policies may also be necessary to nurture nascent industries, safeguard national security interests, or address unfair trading practices by other countries. In recent decades, Innovation and technological advancement have emerged as key drivers of economic growth, prompting governments to adopt policies that foster research and development, R&D, entrepreneurship, and knowledge diffusion. Public funding for scientific research, tax incentives for R&D activities, and support for technology transfer between universities and industry are common policy tools aimed at stimulating innovation. Additionally, governments play a crucial role in creating ecosystems that support startups, such as through incubators, accelerators, and venture capital facilitation. Intellectual property protection, meanwhile, incentivizes inventors and firms to invest in new ideas by ensuring they can reap the rewards of their innovations. Human capital development is another cornerstone of government-led growth strategies. By investing in education and training, governments equip individuals with the skills and competencies required in a modern economy. Policies that expand access to primary, secondary, and tertiary education, improve the quality of instruction, and align curricula with labor market needs help build a versatile and adaptable workforce. Vocational training programs, apprenticeships, and lifelong learning initiatives further enhance employability and productivity, especially in the face of technological change and shifting economic structures. Moreover, inclusive education policies that target disadvantaged groups contribute to social mobility and reduce inequality, thereby strengthening the foundations for broad-based economic growth. Infrastructure development remains a fundamental area where government intervention is indispensable. Efficient transport systems, reliable energy supplies, modern telecommunications, and robust water and sanitation facilities are essential for the smooth functioning of the economies. Public investment in infrastructure not only creates immediate employment opportunities, but also generates long-term productivity gains by reducing transaction costs, connecting markets, and enabling the efficient movement of goods and people. In many cases, governments collaborate with the private sector through public-private partnerships, PPPs, to mobilize resources, leverage expertise, and accelerate project implementation. The role of government in promoting economic growth extends beyond traditional economic sectors to encompass social policies that enhance the well-being and productivity of the population. Health policies that expand access to quality healthcare services, improve life expectancy, reduce absenteeism, and increase labor force participation. Social safety nets, such as unemployment insurance, pensions, and targeted cash transfers, provide a buffer against economic shocks and help maintain aggregate demand during downturns. Gender-sensitive policies that promote women's participation in the workforce, eliminate discriminatory practices, and support work-life balance contribute to a more inclusive and dynamic economy. Environmental sustainability has become an increasingly important dimension of economic policy, as unchecked growth can lead to resource depletion, environmental degradation, and adverse health outcomes. Governments are thus tasked with designing policies that reconcile economic expansion with ecological stewardship. This includes implementing regulations to limit pollution, incentivizing the adoption of clean technologies, and investing in renewable energy sources. Green growth strategies seek to decouple economic progress from environmental harm by fostering innovation, improving resource efficiency, and creating new markets for sustainable goods and services. International cooperation is often necessary to address transboundary environmental challenges, such as climate change, which require coordinated action among nations. Institutional quality is a critical, though sometimes overlooked, determinant of economic growth. Strong institutions, characterized by effective governance, rule of law, accountability, and transparency, provide the foundation for sound economic policies and their successful implementation. Governments that uphold the integrity of public institutions, combat corruption, and ensure the impartial administration of justice create an environment where businesses can thrive and citizens can trust in the system. Conversely, weak institutions undermine policy effectiveness, erode investor confidence, and perpetuate inefficiencies that constrain growth. The process of policy formulation and implementation itself is a dynamic one, requiring governments to adapt to changing circumstances and emerging challenges. Economic shocks, such as financial crises, pandemics, or geopolitical conflicts, demand agile and responsive policy interventions to mitigate negative impacts and restore growth momentum. Governments must also anticipate and prepare for long-term structural shifts, such as demographic transitions, technological disruption, and shifts in global economic power. This necessitates continuous policy evaluation, data-driven decision-making, and a willingness to experiment with new approaches when existing strategies fall short. International experience offers valuable lessons regarding the role of government policies in promoting economic growth. The rapid industrialization of East Asian economies, for example, was facilitated by proactive government intervention in areas such as export promotion, industrial upgrading, and human capital development. These countries adopted pragmatic policies that combined market mechanisms with strategic state guidance tailored to their specific developmental contexts. Conversely, instances of policy missteps, such as excessive protectionism, unsustainable fiscal deficits, or neglect of institutional reforms, have often resulted in stagnation or crisis. Globalization has heightened the importance of policy coherence and coordination, both within and among countries. National policies must be aligned to maximize synergies and minimize conflicts between different objectives, such as growth, equity, and sustainability. International cooperation is essential to address cross-border challenges, harmonize regulatory standards, and prevent a race to the bottom in areas such as taxation, labor rights, and environmental protection. Multilateral institutions like the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and World Trade Organization play a pivotal role in facilitating dialogue, providing technical assistance, and supporting capacity-building efforts in developing countries. While government policies are indispensable for promoting economic growth, their effectiveness depends on several contextual factors. The stage of development, resource endowments, institutional capacity, and societal values all influence the design and outcomes of policy interventions. There is no one-size-fits-all recipe. Successful growth strategies are those that are tailored to local conditions, informed by evidence, and responsive to feedback from stakeholders. Engaging civil society, the private sector, and other actors in the policy process enhances legitimacy, fosters innovation, and ensures that policies are grounded in the realities of those they are meant to serve. One of the perennial debates in economic policy concerns the appropriate balance between state intervention and market forces. While markets are powerful engines of innovation and efficiency, they are prone to failures such as externalities, information asymmetries, and monopolistic practices. Governments have a vital role in correcting these failures, setting the rules of the game, and providing public goods that markets alone cannot deliver. At the same time, excessive or poorly targeted intervention can distort incentives, crowd out private initiative, and stifle competition. Striking the right balance requires constant vigilance, a commitment to evidence-based policymaking, and mechanisms for accountability and course correction. The digital revolution presents both opportunities and challenges for government policies aimed at promoting economic growth. Digital technologies have transformed the way businesses operate, created new industries, and lowered barriers to entry for entrepreneurs. Governments can harness these trends by investing in digital infrastructure, promoting digital literacy, and supporting the development of e-government services that improve efficiency and accessibility. At the same time, policymakers must address risks related to cybersecurity, data privacy, and the digital divide, ensuring that the benefits of technological progress are broadly shared. Labor market policies are another critical component of the government's growth agenda. Policies that promote labor market flexibility, protect workers' rights, and encourage workforce participation contribute to a more dynamic and resilient economy. Active labor market programs, such as job placement services, retraining initiatives, and wage subsidies, help workers transition between jobs and adapt to changing skill requirements. Ensuring that labor markets remain inclusive and responsive to technological change is essential for maintaining social cohesion and harnessing the full potential of the workforce. Financial sector development is closely linked to economic growth, and government policies play a central role in fostering a stable, efficient, and inclusive financial system. Regulatory frameworks that ensure the soundness of banks, protect depositors, and prevent systemic risks are fundamental for maintaining confidence in the financial system. At the same time, policies that promote financial inclusion, such as expanding access to banking services, supporting microfinance institutions, and leveraging fintech innovations, enable households and businesses to save, invest, and manage risks more effectively. Well-functioning capital markets facilitate the allocation of resources to productive investments, driving innovation and growth. Regional development policies are designed to address disparities in economic performance across different parts of a country. Governments can promote balanced regional growth by investing in lagging areas, supporting local industries, and improving connectivity between regions. Decentralization of fiscal and administrative responsibilities can empower local governments to tailor policies to the specific needs and opportunities of their communities. Successful regional development strategies often combine targeted investments with measures to enhance local capacity, foster entrepreneurship, and attract private investment. Tax policy reform is a recurring theme in efforts to promote economic growth. Broadening the tax base, simplifying tax codes, and reducing distortions can enhance revenue collection while minimizing adverse effects on economic activity. Progressive tax systems can help address inequality, while incentives for investment, innovation, and job creation can stimulate growth. Transparent and predictable tax policies are essential for building trust and encouraging compliance among taxpayers. The interplay between macroeconomic stability and growth is a key consideration for policymakers. Sound fiscal and monetary policies that keep inflation in check, maintain manageable levels of public debt, and ensure external balance create a stable environment in which businesses can plan and invest with confidence. Macroeconomic instability, manifested in high inflation, volatile exchange rates, or recurrent fiscal crises, undermines growth prospects by increasing uncertainty, eroding purchasing power, and deterring investment. Social policies that promote equity and inclusion are increasingly recognized as integral to sustainable economic growth. High levels of inequality can undermine social cohesion, limit access to opportunities, and constrain aggregate demand. Policies that expand access to quality education, healthcare, and social protection help level the playing field and enable all citizens to contribute to and benefit from economic progress. Targeted interventions to support marginalized groups, reduce poverty, and promote gender equality are essential components of an inclusive growth agenda. governments also play a crucial role in managing the risks associated with globalization. While integration into the global economy offers significant opportunities for growth, it also exposes countries to external shocks, such as fluctuations in commodity prices, financial contagion, and changes in global demand. Diversification of the economic base, prudent macroeconomic management, and the development of social safety nets are important strategies for enhancing resilience to external shocks. Participation in regional and global cooperation frameworks can also help countries navigate the complexities of the international economic landscape. The COVID-19 pandemic underscored the importance of agile and responsive government policies in the face of unprecedented challenges. Swift fiscal and monetary interventions helped stabilize economies, support businesses, and protect vulnerable populations during the crisis. The experience highlighted the need for robust public health systems, effective crisis management capabilities, and the capacity to mobilize resources quickly in response to emergencies. As countries recover from the pandemic, governments are reassessing their policy priorities to build more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable economies. In conclusion, the role of government policies in promoting economic growth is multifaceted and dynamic. Through a combination of fiscal, monetary, regulatory, trade, innovation, and social policies, governments shape the conditions for economic activity, drive structural transformation, and address emerging challenges. The effectiveness of these policies depends on their design, implementation, and alignment with broader societal goals. As the global economy continues to evolve, governments must remain proactive, adaptive, and committed to fostering growth that is inclusive, sustainable, and resilient. By learning from experience, engaging stakeholders, and embracing innovation, policymakers can chart a path toward shared prosperity and enduring economic progress.